Hello. So on Thursday, I held a really powerful conversation from triggered to deeply connected, and we went into uncovering what the root cause of triggers are and how to overcome them so that you can deepen connection in your relationship. It is still available. If you do want to get access to the replay, just feel free to comment below or send me a DM and I can get that to you. It is only available until the 1st of June. So be sure to reach out and I'll get that to you so you can really dive into this topic. But I want to touch on a few points just to share a little bit about why we're getting triggered and what we can do to start to move through those and overcome them so that you can experience deep connection, great love, and exquisite intimacy. This is something that I'm incredibly passionate about because it's been such a massive part of my own journey, being constantly triggered, especially in that first year of my relationship with Liam. Just trigger, so much coming up, and not having the awareness or the tools to actually move through that was incredibly excruciating, and I wouldn't wish that upon anyone. And I feel like it's also why so many relationships break down, and either we stay together but we're experiencing a lot of disconnection and disharmony and chaos and pain and hurting one another, or we might end that relationship prematurely because we think, oh, they're not the one, or it's not working, when actually we're just missing these essential tools in our relationship. And so this is why I'm so passionate to share what I've learned on my journey over the past however long. Like, I've been on this journey a long time, about 12 years, but especially since the beginning of my relationship, the last 5 years have been incredibly profound, and I've learned so much that has really allowed me to deepen the connection and intimacy in my own relationship, and especially after my first birth with Theo, which was incredibly traumatizing and created a lot of disconnection between Liam and I. And that was 3.5 years ago. And the work that I've done within myself and the work that we've done as a couple and as a family has just been life-changing. And so I'm so excited to be able to share these with you. So I want to touch on just like, why are we getting triggered and what is the cause of these? Because a lot of the time we think, oh, I'm getting triggered because my partner did this or my partner said that. We're not really getting to the core of it, of what's really going on. I truly believe that triggers are revealing to you something so much deeper than just what's happening right here and right now, what needs to change in the relationship. It's actually signaling to you that it's like saying, I'm not safe. There's something happening right now that is reminding you on a somatic level that of something that happened in the past that hasn't been integrated. It's not been resolved. So maybe that's a trauma, maybe that's a childhood experience, maybe it's an experience from a past relationship, maybe it's an experience from your current relationship, but maybe from years ago that hasn't been dealt with. And these things build and build. I've often in the past talked about the onion. As we peel back the layers, we're starting to get to the core of what is this trigger really revealing to you? What is maybe the belief? Sometimes there's a core belief, often there's a core belief there, or a limiting belief, a disempowering belief about ourselves. We're making our current experience mean something about ourselves. So what are you making it mean? If you're experiencing a trigger, if there's something that keeps coming up for you, I invite you into curiosity. This is huge. Start to get curious about what is this trigger revealing to you. Another thing around this is like sometimes it's coming from unmet needs, expectations, or boundaries that have not been honored, or boundaries that have not even been expressed. And so someone's crossing a boundary and we're getting triggered. Maybe it's a boundary we didn't even realize we had, and so this trigger is really important to reveal to you what that boundary is and that there is actually a conversation to be had. Maybe there's an unmet need, and so this is an opportunity to have the conversation about what your needs are, what your expectations are, what your boundaries are, what your desires are. So these triggers are actually supporting you to come into deeper connection, to have greater awareness, to open up the conversation with yourself and with your partner. So the triggers are supporting you. I shared recently, I put a post on Facebook and I said, it's not about getting rid of the triggers. It's not actually necessarily about overcoming them or never getting triggered again. It's actually about changing your relationship to the trigger. So rather than like kind of getting overwhelmed by the trigger and going into a story about it or beating ourselves up or beating our partner up, It's actually like, what is this revealing to me? What is here for me? What can I learn here? And allow that to be a catalyst for your growth and your transformation. And that's going to really support you to have the relationship you want. This is huge. The next thing I want to go into is something that I delved quite deep into on my training on Thursdays. So if you're already resonating with what I'm sharing here, I invite you to reach out and get access to that training while you can. But it's something that I go a little bit more deeper into on that training. And it's my 3-step process to overcoming or moving through triggers more effectively. And so part of it is really that curiosity and like, what is here for me? What is here to learn? What is here to receive? What is this revealing to me? But my 3-step process takes you through actually doing the work where these triggers are no longer having power over you. So it's really a reclamation of your power, of who you truly are. You are an incredibly powerful divine being, and this process will support you in that remembering, in that reclamation of your power, in thriving in your life and your relationship. It's what I guide my clients through. It's what I guide my students through in my different programs that I have. It's really, really incredible to see this in action, to see people implementing this process and getting life-changing results. So step 1 is to regulate your nervous system, regulate your emotions, because this is really where a lot of the triggers are happening, is that we don't know how to regulate ourselves. We are, a lot of us, living in survival mode. So we're going into fight, flee, freeze, fawn, people pleasing, all these different things to cope and protect. So we've been living in survival mode and wondering why we're not thriving, why we're not having the love that we want, the connection that we want, the abundance that we want, all of the things. So the first step is really to create the foundations of regulation and learning practices that you can utilize in times of stress, in times of overwhelm, in times where you're getting triggered and there's conflict and there's chaos or anxiety. What can you do to come back to your center? That's step 1. Then step 2 is the deep healing work. So in order to do the deep healing work, you need to have step 1 in place. You need those foundations of regulation. Otherwise, you're going to get overwhelmed by what you start to experience when you go into the deep healing, and you'll find yourself resisting the deep healing. You'll find yourself shutting down, rejecting it, and creating even stronger protections, which make it even harder to do that deep healing and really touch the core of what's going on, where you can integrate the shadows, the pain, the trauma, the past on a really deep somatic level that will allow you to move forward and have the life and relationships you want. So in order to do the deep healing, you must have the regulation, you must have those foundations in place, you must have support. The deep healing is not something we do alone. We do need that support, whether it's it's having the support of your partner, it's having the support of a coach or a mentor, it's having the support of close friends that you can really trust, the support within yourself, in the inner security, that inner safety within yourself, to really hold space and expand your capacity to feel as you move through these layers. So we want to build that support system so that we can go into the deeper layers. Then step 3 is express and heart-center communication, really leading from this place of embodiment. So as I've been integrating the deep healing, I'm regulated, I've got my tools and my practices, I've got my foundations, then I can really start to move outward and express myself, have conversations that are leading from the heart space, that are really opening up the deep connection that you desire to have with your partner, with yourself, with your community, with your family, with everyone that you desire to have that with. So there is expression weaved into the deep healing, where we're really allowing ourselves to express what we're experiencing, what we're feeling, and maybe what we've resisted or suppressed in the past. But step 3 is really about let's start to express ourselves into the world. Let's start to create from a deeply inspired place, from having really nourishing conversations, soulful conversations, deep, rich conversations with ourselves, with our partner, with our friends. And it's how do I express my needs, my desires, my boundaries, not from a place of I'm not safe, I must protect, and therefore I must control the experience. It's more let me tune in, let me feel into this. How do I want to express myself? How do I want to meet my partner? And it's coming into an expansion. So rather than like constantly focusing, oh, this needs to be healed, this needs to be healed, this is broken, this is not right, this is not serving me, we're so focused on a lot of the time what's broken or what's lacking. This step 3 is where we start to shift that and we start to come into what else is available for me, what else is possible for me, what else could I create? And we're starting to open up because we've got that foundation of safety. We've done the deep healing work, and it doesn't mean that that's done. As I shared in the training on Thursday, it's not like tick things off the list. I've done step 1, I've done step 2, I've done step 3. It's actually a dance. We're consistently regulating and expanding our capacity to feel and express ourselves. We're doing the deep healing work layer by layer, step by step, meeting the different inner children within us. We're going into our expression and our creativity and implementing and embodying what we've learned and what we've received, and we're having these beautiful conversations, and then we go back into deep healing, we go back into regulation, we go into step 3. So it's not about going backwards, it's actually just an evolution. It's a dance. It's moving through all of these at your own pace, in your own way, rather than like I have to do it the right way. It's like I get to explore this, I get to experience this. So this is a really powerful process, and it's something that I guide my clients and my students in a much deeper way inside sacred containers. So inside programs, inside my one-on-one coaching, inside my couples coaching, I support you to really go through this process on a really deep level, to meet those deep parts of you that will allow you to thrive in your life and your relationships. So I've I've been chatting a little bit about an upcoming program that I've got starting June 1st, which is the Deeply Connected Couples Program. So this is something that it is designed to do either alone or with your partner. So even if you're not in a relationship but you desire to be in one, or you're just curious, this can be for you as well. It's really for you to actually build that foundation first and foremost with yourself. And then if you do have a partner that's interested in joining as well, you could do it together. Or you could start first, do it by yourself, and then the second time around you can go through it all again together as a partnership. But really, there's also the relationship to ourselves that is so, so important and often gets forgotten about because we're so busy trying to please someone else or have an external experience. We forget about the internal experience. There's something that I'm often saying is you are the one that you are doing life with. You. So often we're like looking for the one that we're going to partner with and do life with, and someone outside of ourselves. But there's never any certainty that that person is going to be in your life forever or for how long they will be. And if you do the entire life together, amazing. If you do a few months, a year, 5 years, 10 years, however long you are in partnership, that is beautiful. And if it comes to a natural closing where it's time to part ways, beautiful, and it's an honoring that. But you are the one that you are doing life with. You are always with you. You are eternal. You are with yourself this entire human experience. And so your relationship to self is really, really important. So whether you want to do this with your partner or whether you want to do it for yourself, amazing. I celebrate you. We're going to be exploring some really, really potent and deep topics. So there's going to be conversation, there's going to be energetic transmissions where I'm really tuning in and just sharing what is feeling called to be shared with the group that comes into this space. And I'm also going to be guiding you through embodiment journeys, through implementing the process of regulate, deep healing, expression. We're going to go into family dynamics because a lot of the time in our relationship, that's what we're experiencing. There is like a mirroring of what we experienced as a child, what we witnessed as a child, what we saw our parents, how we saw them relating and connecting, or their lack of connection and how they responded to one another, how they got triggered. So we're going to explore that and really start to get to the core of what is your trigger, or what's coming up for you, and why is that there? What's at the core of this? We'll go into transforming belief systems and deeply ingrained patterns, so starting to expand that awareness around what's going on for you and start to unravel and transform it. We'll go into attachment styles and creating secure attachment. That's really important. Again, as I mentioned in the 3-step process, it's really getting curious about how can I create that inner security that's going to allow me to have the deep connection in my relationship that I desire. Because if I'm in a space of I'm not safe, and so therefore I must protect, so I'm going into fighting, I'm going into fleeing, I'm going into freezing, going into people pleasing, whatever it is that we do to protect. If you're going into that, there's something saying to you that I'm not safe. So we need to create that inner security. Then we're going to go into dissolving resentment, cultivating inner harmony and appreciation for yourself, for your partner, for those in your life that you're doing life with. So, so important and so life-changing. And then it's really, we're going into like what I'm going to support you with. We're delving deep, because what we want to start to create is the foundations for deep connection, great love, and exquisite intimacy, which is really, really exciting. Like I said, we're going to do the foundational work that's going to allow us to start expanding, opening our heart, letting love in. And it's going to be absolutely life-changing for you, for your partner, for your future partner, for your family. I've noticed how this work within myself and this work within my relationship has completely transformed my family life, and how I relate to my mom, how I relate to my dad, how I show up for my children. It's incredible. So if you join this weekend, you will be joining at the price of $444, which is really amazing. It's going to be a completely live program. We've got Q&A sessions as well. There's so much in here, and practices that you can use as well that will support you for the rest of your life, really, to keep coming back to deepen intimacy, to experience deep pleasure with yourself, with your partner. Really amazing. So I will pop the link below so that you can go and check it out and see everything that's involved. But on Monday, the price will be going up to $777. So if you do want to jump in, definitely jump in this weekend while it's at the $444 price. And I do have limited spaces as well, because I want to make sure that I can really offer personalized support and really go deep with the group. So I don't want to overload. I want to make sure there's a good sized group that we can work with, and I can really make sure that I'm supporting you on the deepest level possible. So thank you so much for being here, for listening. I'm so excited to be joining with our amazing group next week. We start June 1st, so I'm so excited for that. If you are interested, reach out. If you have any questions, I'm here. Just send me a DM. And if you do want the training from Thursday, again, it's available until June 1st, so you can DM me for that. And I'm so excited to share all of this and more with you.